Greetings everyone, welcome back to my sketchbook. In the last video I drew something for the very first time after seeing something for the very first time, which was opening up some card packs to find Trevenant, which evolves from Phantump. Anyway, so here's the thing. I really don't know much about these things, so this was my take on something just from looking at this card. And I'm going to admit something. I don't really like this thing very much. But what I'm going to do is draw another version of this now that I've seen some video of this particular Pokemon in action. So let's go to another page here. I mean, honestly, how was I to know that a creature that has 2 eyes would evolve into a creature that has 1 eye? Not much detail that I can pick up from that. Let's open up the inkwell here beside me and grab my pen and try a different take. So let's put some ink on this. Seems interesting. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, go to there, and we're just going to kind of rough out something here. You know what? Let's use the bunny pen because I think that'd be kind of fun in its stead. I'm going to choose brown first, and yeah, let's just go. So I'm going to focus firstly on getting some part of the eye done. It has like a central kind of horn here, and then off to one side it has 2 others, just branches, but they act more like horns, right? Let's work on the next part of this. So I'm going to utilize the same sort of technique of making the mouth, which is almost like you'd shatter some branch, bark, and whatnot to fill in the gaps. So it's kind of a spooky looking thing. The waist of it seems to, I'm going to kind of move that out just a little bit. Okay, see if that kind of focuses enough. Does something similar to what I assume is a mouth. Let's add some texture for its bark body. Do the same thing here, like that mouth. So it seems to have some unique attacks. Some bark body stuff there. Oh, and I'll say this much, which I can't tell from looking at that. It seems to have 6 legs. So much for a heads up on how that works. The 6 legs are almost like tarantula, like spider legs. Now, I don't choose to know how all the things work because it's not perfectly in my wheelhouse. Let's have one of those legs out here just for fun. And we'll have one back here to stabilize things. Next, floating segments of its arms. that. And more here with like kind of a specialized branch or twig that makes its way out before we get to a leaf-like cuff. So the hand comprised of 3 claws. Let's have this one kind of make its way up like this. We're not doing any forced perspective kind of things. We're just and by that I mean where you have one claw that's dramatically placed in front. We don't have to do that. Or where the rest of the body is far behind. I could do another picture like that, I suppose, if I needed to. Again, it almost seems like there's 2 eye sockets, but there's one internalized eye. So let's have that sort of off-center slightly. Let it stay in there kind of glowing like. For fun, using the bunny pen, of course, which has a rotating bunny, so I can, hang out at the color that I want. But I'm going with green here next. And I'm going to make some little leaves off some of these twigs and branches. We're going to work on this immense super cuff. I'm going to do it down here as well. I'm just wiggling in a bunch of leaves. Here there seems to be almost like a tuft of leaf hair, and then some sprigs of growth like that. Let's go with a couple there. Okay. Something that I think would be kind of fun. I'm going to use this green still, and we're going to utilize an unseen power of sorts. Which will enable us, in theory, to have an attack called a double hammer. Let's see if I can move that out just a little bit more. Okay, that locks down. I'm going to do the same thing here. It's okay if it's floating above everything because that is fine. Okay, so that's the rough idea using the bunny pen. The next thing I'm going to do reasonably quickly, since that took about 10 minutes to get to that, is I already have this pen here, and with that I'm going to add in a little bit of detail and maybe clean up some of the scratchiness that I have going on here. So it's also with this that I will add in some of the dark effect as well. And I may bring out a brush and water to move this ink around just a little bit. So yeah, it's kind of fun to get a look at characters that I've never seen before. It's disappointing that there isn't really as much information, so that's just how that goes, I guess. I'm not looking stuff up until after the fact. So this is what I end up with. Now I think there's going to be a dramatic difference in my mind than the last video. And hopefully that's not like cringe, as some of you might say. I'm not making excuses beyond that. But yeah, if I don't know, well, then that's just how it is. So I guess this character's been around for a little while, even with Pokemon Go. I'm keeping some of it kind of light at the moment, because if I do bring out the brush and water, it's going to kind of blend out some of the stuff. I'm going to work on this part of the mouth here, leave it kind of scratchy looking as well. But unlike the last drawing, I'm going to fill in those dark areas. So let's choose a point in here like that. That would be a lot easier if this had a dark background as well. At least I think so. I wonder if I should leave that kind of stringy. You know, maybe it could drool a little bit or something. That'd be kind of funny. Maybe I'll go back in with an acrylic marker and fill in some of that drooling, if that's even necessary. Next, let's have this taken care of. Almost seems like it's someone in a suit when you have these sort of splits like this. So like my nephew has some sort of, like, I don't know what you want to call them, a haunting nobody suit, which is kind of funny. I'm sure there's a specific name for it. It allows you to take over a persona, let's say. I think that claw should be kind of in behind that hammer, but I think the hammer kind of glow manifests or something like that. It's like an energy. Kind of, I don't know if you'd say spawn. Okay. Because I want that to be kind of see-through in a way too. Same with the mouth, this lower half of the body. I want to have it make its way to this inner dark sleeving, whatever you want to call this. So I only watched a few battles with Trevenant. One was with like Charizard, which Trevenant was the victor in that. Now I don't play Pokemon Go, so I don't see these creatures really in battle. I know some people that are still very active in that, looking for all those training opportunities as well. So I think this is a little bit different than the last video. Now, I want the knee to seem almost hinged in some way. If I were extra crafty, I guess I could have put shoes on it, but we don't need to. This one back here will be a little bit in the shadows. So I hope your day is going well. I hope you're having adventures. I think that's important. Gathering together with friends and family, that's also very important. Your time is important. So, yes, hang out. I mean, it's funny even if you hang out with me for a minute or so, but, you know, get outside, find yourself some sunshine. That's super duper fun. Let's work on this arm here next. Today is a road trip day for me. As I'm off to visit someone at their kind of like a vacation home. So that should be awesome and fun. I do believe it will end in a barbecue. Let's see here. We're going to have that thumb stabilized. So I had it floating here, but I think I'll need to change it. And then this one, let's have it move to there. And we'll change this to that. I'm going to bring out the bunny pen anyway, just for gap filling. little bit of detail with that. Because, you know, if you need to throw a double hammer that's made out of energy, well, just have to try to figure out some stuff. These leaves, just throw a little bit of detail on those. This other hammer. A little bit of detail on that. Okay. So slightly different, I suppose, than the last drawing, just because I have a bit more detail on Trevenant. And like I said in the last video, I do believe that it is a name combined of revenant and tree, and that a revenant is some sort of ghoulish creature, much like a zombie, that is kind of haunting in some way. I don't know if I really like those legs very much. I have a cup here with some water in it. And I have my #1 detailing brush. And with that, I'm just going to move around some of this ink. Now, I don't particularly love what's going on with this hand here because I anticipated something a little bit differently. I think that kind of muddied things up a little bit more than I wanted it to. I go in here, really darken that in. And when that happens, of course, you can grab a piece of tissue and you can dab away some of the excess water, but I don't really feel like it. In here, I'm going to solidify some of the darkness. Get rid of that speckly look in certain areas. As I said, it's probably fine to make it seem as if our buddy here is drooling just a little bit. That's pretty zany. here. Well, let me know in the comments how horrible that is by concept. I am going to bring out this marker and I'm going to add some streaks to these double hammers for kind of like a glowy effect, maybe. And maybe we can have it kind of saying its name. Maybe we can call this Trev. That'd be funny. So if your name's Trevor, well, I apologize. We don't have to leave this as Trev. I get this to look a little bit bigger here. Okay. And we'll just scratch in very lightly. Like that. Okay. I think that is kind of it. Let me take a moment to look over a couple other things. Here where it's dried up just enough. Add some of that detail back in that I made blurry. So yes, let me know if you've used this character in your battles, in your training, all that kind of stuff. If you find it to be effective in your league battles, in the Great League or wherever. If it is a effective place kind of thing where, you know, you're better off in the grasses or wherever. As I said, I'm not really familiar with its battlings beyond the couple of videos that I've watched. Let's put in some of that bark. think that is going to be pretty much it. I don't think we need to go into much more than that. As I said here, I would have preferred to have that gone. I don't think even this jelly roll will eliminate that nicely. That's okay. What else could I do? It's now where you find that you may overwork something. You gotta step back. Okay. I think that it will be it. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Hope you have a great day. Ciao for now.